Hey guys, Youngblood with you with TrackIR working again in Star Citizen. I wanted to go ahead and talk about what some of the options are available for head tracking in game. So we're going to go ahead and start off with TrackIR because it's probably the best known and kind of the granddaddy of all of these products, and they're currently on their 5th version of the TrackIR hardware. The sensor itself is a camera and an IR sensor and costs about $150, and that's going to end up coming with a clip that kind of affixes to a ball cap and ends up having some reflectors on it. Now they also offer a professional clip, which is really just using IR LEDs, and it costs about $35 and is optional, or you can end up getting the pro clip and the sensor for about $170 and save a little bit of money there. Now there's many people out there that are going to say the cost is too high for what the product is, and what some of the alternatives are that you have available to you. And while I've certainly gotten my money's worth out of the product, it's hard to disagree when you see some of the other options and the costs that there are. Now the software itself is robust and it's effective, as well as being pretty intuitive for the most part with changing the curves and sensitivity levels. The Track Clip Basic works pretty well, though it's not really ideal if you're wearing a headset or you're playing in the dark. The Pro Clip that attaches to your headset is really more needed in my mind, and you can create your own if you're so inclined. Now the reason that so many have issues with the price for the product is that it was actually released about 8 years ago. So it seems that they have kind of just sort of stopped doing updates to their products or development. But that's kind of more of a personal argument in my mind because the product itself works really well as is. So I don't really have an issue with that piece. Either way, that's kind of our starting point. So let's go ahead and talk about a few of the alternatives. Now, before we get into that, it is worth noting that I don't have anything here but a TrackIR at this point. So you'll probably want to do some additional research before kind of making your own buying decision. But most of these products should work as well in Star Citizen as long as TrackIR is supported. And for those of you that are going to say anything, I'm not being sponsored by any of these guys. That being said, I have reached out to several of these companies to try and get demo units, and if I end up getting my hands on those, I will absolutely cover them in more detail. So starting off with the first alternative, we're going to talk about Edie Tracker, and it's rapidly becoming a favorite option for head tracking, as it doesn't really require any cameras, and the only thing that you have to wear is a little box that sits on your headset. Now with that in mind, the device uses accelerometers and magnetometers to judge the movements that you're making, which also means that lighting conditions in your room are a non-issue. This is one product that you can, purchase for about $50. That's really their primary sales piece. And that's the one that's professionally assembled, and it's kind of what you would expect to buy in a store. They do have an alternative, though, that is open source. So if you're interested in just building your own, there is a whole community dedicated to helping you accomplish that, and that can be done for about $10. FacetrackNoIR is an interesting option because it's really just reading your face and doesn't require anything to be worn, which is an attractive option. The software is based on the free track protocol, so it works whenever TrackIR is going to work in-game, and for an additional perk, the program is free. All you really need is a basic webcam, so the software that you download, and that's really it. Since there's no trackers that are being worn, you do need to be in a well-lit situation as far as your room is concerned, so the program and camera can determine what it's actually looking at. I've heard many say that it's not, super accurate, so things like aiming may be challenging using it. But for looking around your cockpit or your MFDs, then I think this is where this product really starts to shine. And there is kind of a hybrid solution there where you can use this program as a free option, then create your own tracker that you can just make on your own. But either way, if you're just looking to get into head tracking and want to see if you have interest before investing in something more expensive, this would be a really good starting point. The track hat started out just like you would expect. It's basically a hat with some IR bulbs that are kind of strung through the weaving, and they're connected to a little box on the back that then connects to your PC for power via a USB cable. The two lights on the brim of the hat and the third is actually on the dome of the hat, and it's actually positioned far enough to the front where a set of headphones can actually be worn and not be interfering with the visibility that you have there. There is a pro version of the hat that has a battery pack on the back that can be charged when not in use or even when you're using it, meaning that you can go wireless with that option. Outside of hats, they also have a couple clips like TrackIR uses, and it basically just sticks to the side of your headset. Now there is free software that you can use that's developed by TrackHat called OpenTrack that uses a modified PSI camera as the sensor. And since it uses the free track protocol, it basically works in any game that TrackIR works in as well. Now these clips range in cost from about $20 to $50, and the hats are about $35 to $60, or if you need to get a camera as well, you can start out with a kind of an all-inclusive pack starting at $34, and that goes up to about $70 depending on what you're actually looking for. Toby 4C, this is an eye tracking device as opposed to a more traditional head tracking, though it's actually capable of doing both. Now it's a long kind of eye tracking device that you end up mounting to your monitor's edge via an adhesive strip and a clip. Now from there, you really just need to download the software that is proprietary to this product, plug it in, and configure. Now there's two versions of the eye tracking products from Toby, with the original going for about $116 and the newer 4C going for about $170. Now this is the one that I'm actually probably most interested in testing, and I've actually reached out to Toby to try and get a unit to review, and if that happens, I'll end up giving you my thoughts. And the last one we're going to talk about is the DLAN clip. It's a machined stainless steel clip for your headset, which uses 3 IR LEDs to determine the location that you're facing, and that works with a modified PlayStation Eye camera that has the IR filter removed. Now, as far as the software is concerned, there isn't really anything proprietary to use. You just download and use something that's already existing for free, like FacetrackNoIR, OpenTrack, FreeTrack, or even the TrackIR software, which is the software only, but it is free to download. Now the camera and the headset can be purchased for about $40 on their website, so it's a really cheap option, and it's a pretty good one actually. So those are some of the alternatives out there. Like I said, I don't have any of the ones outside of the TrackIR, but I'm trying to get my hands on them. If you're a user of one of these, please put your experiences in the comments so others can learn from you. So that's basically it. If I get options, I will kind of do some follow-up videos on this, but I wanted to let you guys know that there are alternatives if you have interest in it. So appreciate you guys watching. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and take care.